Hello again and welcome back. Welcome back to a new class, to class number 134. We have a lot of work, so without any further delay, without any further ado, without further delay, let's go to camera number 1 and start, shall we? Okay. Es esencial que estés conmigo. It's essential that you be with me. Es esencial que ella venga. It's essential that she come. Es crucial que ella entienda esto. It's crucial that she understand this. Es subjuntivo en inglés. Es subjuntivo latino, en inglés. Es esencial que él tenga este medicamento. It's essential that he have this medication. Okay, puedes elegir entre muchas ofertas de trabajo. You can choose. You can choose. You can pick. You can choose among many job offers. You can choose among many job offers. Ahora ni siquiera leen mi curriculum. Now they don't even read my CV. Now they don't even read my resume. My God, I've sent my resume out to over 100 companies. Not a single answer. Not a single answer. Can you believe it? 2 years ago when I sent my resume out, I received, if I sent 100 resumes out, I got at least 30 thank you letters. Maybe no offers, but at least thank you notes, you see. Now, everybody's too busy covering their own rear guard, okay? So hard to find a job. But it's true. If you can reach a really good level of English, really good, your chances of finding a job in difficult times like now are much better, okay? Because companies pay attention to this. Because always, la cruz, it's una cruz. English is a cross that the companies carry. Very few important managers in Spain speak English really well. Okay, no debías haber dicho eso. You shouldn't have said that. No debiste decir eso. You shouldn't have said that. 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 Shouldn't have. That's native speech. For you, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have said that. It was a mistake. Yeah, I'm sorry you said it. Yes. You shouldn't have said it. It was a mistake to say it. And it's too bad you said it. Es una lástima que lo dijeras. It's too bad you said it. You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it. Tienes la risa más contagiosa que jamás he oído. You have the most contagious laugh I've ever heard. Contagious, famous, jealous, envious, superfluous, meticulous, contagious. The endings, O-U-S, O-U-S, us. For us, contagious. You have the most contagious laugh I've ever heard. Heard. I've ever heard. You have the most contagious laugh I've ever heard. My God. Every time you start laughing, nobody around you can stop laughing, okay? Ah, yes, you have a very, very contagious laugh. Una vez que yo empiezo a reír, no puedo parar. Once I start laughing, I can't stop. Once I start crying, I can't stop. Once I start laughing, I can't stop. Yes. I know some people because they smoke strange substances. Once they start laughing, they can't stop. Puedo manejar el teléfono con relativa facilidad, no felicidad. Con relativa facilidad. I can handle the telephone with relative ease. Yeah. Telephone's tough. It's tough to handle the telephone in a second language. However, remember, telephone conversations are more routine than face-to-face conversations or meetings. The English you need, the listening comprehension skills you need to follow a meeting well and to contribute to a meeting are greater, usually, than what you need on a telephone. So there's really no reason to be afraid of the telephone more than any other situation. In fact, you should be less afraid of the telephone than of other face-to-face or group situations in English. But nevertheless, people suffer phone fear, telephone fear, miedo al teléfono, And it's logical, because you can't see the person often. But in any case, este señor no tenía problema. Dice que puedo manejar el teléfono con relativa facilidad. I can handle the telephone with relative ease. The ease, la facilidad con que alguna gente habla inglés, the ease with which some people, the ease with which, la facilidad con que, with which. The ease with which some people speak English is quite impressive. The ease, okay? I can do that with ease. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease. The daring young man on the flying trapeze, el trapecio, in the circus. Daring, el atrevido, valiente joven en el trapecio. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease. Facilidad. The daring, atrevido, the daring young man on the flying trapeze. It's a very famous circus song. Okay, ease. I can handle the trapeze, trapecio, with ease. Can you? All right. Mi amigo tiende a perder los estribos. My friend tends to lose his temper. I tend to lose my temper too. I tend, you tend, he tends. He tends to lose his temper. To lose his temper. Don't lose your temper. Stay cool. Keep cool. Cool it. Settle down. Calm down. Don't lose your temper. En el fondo es un tipo majo. Deep down. Deep down. Profundo abajo, literalmente. Deep down. He's a nice guy. Yes. A todo el mundo le gusta un final feliz. Everybody likes a happy ending. Everybody likes a happy ending. Un final de historia es ending, no end. El final, el fin de todo es the end. Esto es el final. Pero el final de un cuento es the ending. The happy ending. Puesto que nunca me pides mi opinión, me callo. Me quedo callado. Since you never asked me for my opinion, I keep quiet. No tengo ni idea de dónde podrían estar. No tengo ni idea dónde podrían estar. I have no idea where they could be. I have no idea where they could be. Do you know where they are? I have no idea where they could be. Él insistió en venir. He insisted on coming. He insisted on coming. He insisted on coming. And I insist on passing you to another teacher.
Okie dokie. My name is Richard Brown, as you know, the other Richard of the series, and we're going to carry on, as you were expecting, reviewing the previous class. That's to say, class 133. So we're getting through the course. It's going all too quickly. I hope you're working hard at home and reviewing all the time. Now with me today is David in the studio. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Are you full of beans, full of energy?
Yes, I'm full of energy.
Excellent, good stuff. Today, well, very quickly, we have two things to review. Firstly, this idea of it's important that, it's necessary that, followed by a subject and then the basic verb, okay? It's a bit like a subjunctive in English. Okay. We don't have a subjunctive, but this is the closest we get to it. For example, es importante que llegues puntual, in English would be, it's important that you be on time, okay? That you be on time. It's a bit strange, but you'll get used to it, okay?
Okay.
Similarly, in the third person, es importante que él llegue puntual. It's important that he be on time, okay?
Okay.
And with any other verb, you don't say that he does, that he do. It's important that he do it now,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Si dices that he does it, no pasa nada, porque muchos ingleses también lo hacen.
Okay.
Y norteamericanos también, okay? Good stuff. Now, I will give you some examples. For example, she has to do exercises every day, okay? You can say it's essential that...
It's essential that she do exercises every day.
Okay, good. It's essential that she do exercises every day. They have to win this game. Let's use crucial.
It's crucial that they win this game.
Excellent. A bit faster?
It's crucial that they win this game.
Excellent. Okay, he has to be on time.
It's important he to be on time.
It's important that. Don't forget.
It's important that he to be on time.
Not to be. He be. Okay, it's not the complete infinitive. It's simply the basic verb. It's important that he be on time.
It's important that he be on time.
Okay, now faster, in a natural
It's
way.
important that he be on time.
It's important that he be on time.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to get my hair cut. El único que me queda.
Okay, it's important you get your hair cut.
Good, it's important. You, se puede omitir that. It's important that, or it's important you get your hair cut. Ahora, él, que se corte el pelo él. It's important
that he get his hair cut.
Muy bien. In this case, we're not using the final S on the end of get. It's important that you get your haircut. It's important that he get his haircut. It's curious, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway.
All right. Essential. Es esencial que estés ahí.
Mm-hmm. It's essential you be there.
Okay, good. Essential. Essential.
Essential.
Essential.
Essential.
It's essential.
It's essential
that you be there.
That you be there.
Excellent. Muy bien. Excellent. We have no more time for that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So we're going to go whizzing on to our translation list from yesterday. This is translation list number 45, which I hope you will have reviewed at least 20 times in your cars prior to this class. Okay, let's choose one at random. Al azar, at random, ¿no? Ahora ni siquiera leen mi currículum.
Now they don't even read my CV, my resume.
Sí, CV.
Uh-huh.
Or resume, yeah?
Okay.
They don't even read my CV. No debiste decir eso.
You shouldn't have said that.
Ahora con naturalidad.
You shouldn't have said that.
Y ahora con enfado.
You shouldn't have said that.
Good stuff. Una vez que empiezo a reír, no puedo parar.
Once
true.
Once I start laughing, I can't stop.
Vale, how do we pronounce the word start?
Once I start laughing, I can't stop.
David is glaring at me. Me está mirando con cara de asesino. He's glaring at me.
No,
okay, again, once I start laughing, I can't stop.
Once I start laughing, I can't stop.
Muy bien. Puedo manejar el teléfono con relativa facilidad. Vaya.
I can handle the telephone with, I don't know, easily.
Easily, vale?
Or quite easily.
With quite easily, or with relative ease.
With relative ease.
E-A-S-E, okay? E-A-S-E. It's the way we spell the noun ease. Okay? Facilidad. Good. En el fondo es un tipo majo.
Down deep or deep
down.
Okay.
Right.
Deep down, he's a nice guy.
Deep down, he's a nice guy. Good. Pero él tiende a perder los estribos.
But he's prone
Muy bien. He's
to lose, I know.
To
lose his temper.
Very good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
But he's prone to lose his temper.
He's prone to lose his temper, or he tends to lose his temper. Okay. Temper at the end, it's written with an ER, but we pronounce it temper. Okay. Temper.
Okay.
All right. He tends to lose his temper. A todo el mundo le gusta un final feliz.
Everybody likes a happy ending.
Everybody likes a happy ending. Well, I hope we've managed to bring a happy ending to this little segment of this class, because we've only got about 7 seconds and I have nothing else to say to you. So see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, to talk is hablar, to talk to somebody or to talk with somebody. Normally we say to talk to somebody, to talk about somebody, as you know, when I'm talking to you about Maria. Now, before we continue talking to each other, let's go to camera number 1, please. Okay. Now, to talk about somebody, to talk to somebody, to talk with somebody, and to talk down to somebody. To talk down to somebody is not very recommendable. You shouldn't talk down to people. You shouldn't talk down to people. If you talk down to people, then you're looking down your nose at those people. You look down your nose. Do you look down your nose at people? Do you talk down to people? Do you talk to people in a condescending way? When you talk, do you feel you're superior to the rest? Do you have a superiority complex? Many people have an inferiority complex, but it seems that there are some people ahí fuera, there are some people out there who seem to have at least a superiority complex, and they look down their nose at other people and they talk down to these people. To talk down to is to speak to others in a condescending way, as if you are superior to that other person and that other person is inferior to you. So I really don't recommend you talk down to people. There are people who can't help it. They were just naturally born immortal, and no matter how hard they try not to exhibit this immortality that they possess, as opposed to the normal people, no matter how hard they try to hide it, you can see it, and they talk down to other people. All right? You call these people soberbios, or creídos, engreídos, and they talk down to other people. All right? They look down their nose at. Interesting expression. To look at is mirar. I'm looking at you. But I'm not looking down my nose. Oh, yes. I'm looking at you, but I'm holding my head high because I'm superior to you. And I hold my head so high that in order for me to see you, I need to look down the bridge, down the bridge of my nose to you. And so that's the expression in English for the equivalent in Spanish, mirar por encima del hombro, which is a very good expression too. To look over your shoulder at somebody means you consider yourself superior to that other person. So you look over your shoulder. But in English, no, to look over your shoulder is because there's something behind you. But to look down your nose at, siempre con el adjetivo posesivo, my, your, his, her, our, their. She looks down her nose at people. He looks down his nose at people. You look down your nose at people. I look down my nose at people. We never say that about ourselves, okay? It's usually he or she, or they. They look down their nose at people, como si fuera una nariz común de varios. They look down their nose at people. We don't say they look down their noses at people. And they talk down to people. Don't talk down to me. I'm a teacher, yeah. And you're an important person, quote, unquote. Es curioso cuando decimos la expresión en inglés entre comillas. No me hables así, puesto que tú eres una persona, entre comillas, importante. Y se suele hacer, entre comillas, importante. Lo que decimos en inglés es, since you are an important person, quote, unquote. So, abrir comillas is quote. Unquote is cerrar comillas. All right? Quote, the quotation marks. These two marks are called quotation marks, literally, or quotes. Una cita también es a quote. Una cotización de precio is a quote, a quotation. But these are quotation marks. So when you're talking and not writing, you open the quote, you quote, and then you unquote. All right? Citar y descitar. Después de terminar una cita. Quote, unquote. And so we say this, since you are a quote, unquote, important person, or since you're an important person, quote, unquote, se suele poner antes. He thinks he is, quote, unquote, the best teacher in the world. All right, quote, unquote. And so he has a tendency, this person, to look down his nose at other people. But don't look down your nose at me. Don't talk down to me, my friend. Even though I'm only a teacher, what I can give you is very valuable. And you have a clear handicap. Your English is not good. Your English needs improvement. And I'm here to help you improve that area in which you are disadvantaged. So don't look down at me. Don't talk down to me. Don't look down your nose at me. Okay? I'm not as rich as you. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth like you. Okay? but I have probably achieved more things in my life than you have. So don't talk down to me, my friend. If you want to learn English, you can find another teacher whom you can talk down to all the time and who can make you feel superior if you want. Would you like me to find an inferior teacher for you? Would you like to find a teacher? Do you want me to find a teacher for you with an inferiority complex? I can find it, no problem. And then you can freely feel immortal in a world of mortals, and you can talk down to people. You can look down at people or look down your nose at people. All right, mirarles por encima del hombro, and feel important, feel superior, and feel immortal. I can find a teacher for you like that, no problem. But with me, no. Don't talk down to me. I won't take that. I won't take that from you or from anybody. Okay? Either you sit down and decide that you are a normal person, that you are a mortal, like me and like Maria, or you can just leave. We don't need you. We don't need your money. We don't need your time. We don't need your support. We can get by fine without you. Don't talk down to me, and especially don't talk down to Maria. All right? If I catch you talking down to her, that's it. Se acabó. That's it. You can turn around and walk out the door and don't come back. Just close the door when you leave, okay? If you don't mind, okay? So don't look down your nose at us, Maria and me. Don't talk down to us. Don't act immortal, because you're not. We are all in the same boat, my friend, on this planet. And I don't have time, and Maria doesn't have time for people who feel superior. So don't talk down to us. All right? And don't look down your nose at us. And I recommend really, my friend, that you don't talk down to anybody. Try to avoid that bad habit, please. Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes. All right. I'm sorry if I spoke to you in a way that could hurt your feelings. I was simply teaching the verb to talk down to. I know you're not proud or you're not conceited. Conceited is engreído en inglés. I know you're not conceited. But I want you to remember the expression to talk down to. And if possible, the interesting expression, look down your nose at people. All right? Because it could come in handy. You never know, this expression. Talk down to somebody. Very important to understand this, especially the expression to talk down to. Because these type of expressions that contain a lot of powerful meaning, if you don't understand them, you can make some important mistakes in the business world, negotiations, to talk down to somebody. If you don't understand it, it's hablar a alguien con cierto falta de respeto, to talk down to. So be careful with that, all right? I'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello everyone, it's me again, Hannah. How are you today? Okay, are you ready for your practice block with me? I hope you are. Okay, let's say hello to my student for today, Marina. Hello, Marina.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well. Delighted to be here with you.
Okay, great. Marina's so positive. She always says, I'm delighted, which is a very nice way of saying, I'm so happy to be here. All right, we're going to look at a very interesting and important phrasal verb today. Okay? So this is a phrasal verb that we use when we say, hablarle a alguien en tono condescendiente. Ooh, that's kind of tricky to say in Spanish, condescendiente. So the phrasal verb is to talk down to someone. Okay, so to talk down to someone. So if you can imagine, literalmente, like hablar, you know, en tono condescendiente, so you're talking down. Casi físicamente, literally, viene de ese sentido, right? So we don't really like to talk down to people because it's not nice. It's not a nice thing to do, but sometimes it happens. So let's take a look at some examples. For example, Marina, do you talk down to people?
No, I don't talk down to people.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Ask me the same question.
Hannah, do you talk down to people?
No, I don't. I don't like talking down to people because I think it's very impolite, right? It's very rude to talk down to people. All right. Did your neighbor talk down to you last week?
No, my neighbor didn't talk down to me last week.
Okay, good. Did you talk down to your neighbor last week?
No, I didn't talk down to my neighbor last week.
Okay, very good. Of course not, because Marina is a very polite person. All right. Would you come here if I talked down to you?
No, I don't think I would come here if you talked down to me.
Okay, great. I don't think anyone would come here if the teachers talked down to their guests, to their special students. Okay, do bosses sometimes talk down to their employees?
Well, some bosses
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
sometimes talk down to employees.
Exactly. Okay, unfortunately, yes. Some bosses that are really mean and maybe inconsiderate or maybe having a bad day might talk down to their employees. All right. Ask me if I ever talk down to my students.
Hannah, have you ever talked?
Ask me if
I
I ever.
ever.
Presente simple.
Okay. Do
Do
you
you?
ever talk down to your students?
No, of course not. No. I never talk down to my students. Never, never, never. Okay? And now, fijaos bien. Now, notice here the phrasal verb to talk down to someone. Now, as you know, when we have phrasal verbs, we have separables or inseparables, right? So, phrasal verbs that you can separate the preposition and the verb, right? You can separate the two parts, or inseparable obviously means that you can't separate the two parts. Now, this phrasal verb is it separable or inseparable, Marina?
Inseparable.
Very good. Perfect. So this is an inseparable phrasal verb. You can't separate the parts, okay? So you can't say to talk and then put someone and then down. I see. So to talk someone down, no. Then it changes the meaning. It doesn't make sense in this context. So you must put the object or the person that you're talking down to after the prepositions, right? So to talk down to someone, and don't forget that preposition to when you say a quien, right? All right. How often do you talk down to your daughter?
Well, I never talk down to my daughter.
Okay, great. Excellent. Repeat.
I never talk down to my daughter.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Yes, of course you wouldn't. Well, first of all, because like I said before, Marina is very polite, very lovely, and her daughter is so lovely and wonderful too. I've also met her. Okay, now, did the president of the company talk down to his secretary yesterday?
Yes, the president of the company talked down to his secretary yesterday.
Okay, great. Okay, very bad president. All right. If you were a doctor, would you talk down to your patients?
Well, if I were a doctor, I wouldn't talk down to my patients.
Great, very good. So notice here, right, we're using the second conditional. Marina said, if I were a doctor, so don't forget if I were a rich man, right? Okay, so if I were a doctor, I definitely wouldn't talk down to my patients. If anything, you would encourage them,
Yeah,
right? And
it's
speak
not-
to them positively.
Yeah, it's not a good policy.
Exactly. So I think to be a doctor, you have to have, not have to, but it's very helpful to have good bedside manner, right? Knowing how to deal with patients and encouraging them and being optimistic and positive. Okay, ask me if he used to talk down to his wife.
Did he used to talk down to his wife?
Yes, he used to talk down to his wife. So now she's no longer his wife. Okay.
No wonder.
So, and also no longer, remember, no longer is ya no. Okay, so we can say no longer or anymore or any longer. So we have those three different ways of saying ya no. So I said before, that's why she's no longer his wife. I could also say that's why she's not his wife anymore, or that's why she's not his wife any longer. So all of those three ways, they're all the same way of saying ya no. Okay, ask me if I'd quit my job if my boss talked down to me.
Would you quit your job if your boss talked down to you?
Probably. Yeah, I think I'd quit my job if my boss talked down to me. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I think so. But I would be a bit patient with him
Right.
and see if it was just once, and I would be patient if it were
Patient.
patient if it were just once.
Okay, exactly. If it were just one incident, maybe, or once in a blue moon, maybe because he's had a bad day and he says, "Oh, Hannah," okay, I might forgive him or her. But if it's consistent and constant, then no, no. I would say bye, adios. I deserve better than that. Okay. Do you ever talk down to your students?
No, I had never talked.
Oh, do you ever?
Do you ever? No, I never talked down to my students.
Okay, very
Never.
good. Great. Okay, because Marina has students too because she's a professor. And so I asked her again, do you ever talk down? Here I'm using presente simple. Do you ever, como habitualmente? And Marina said, no, I never talk down to my students. Okay, good job. Great job. Thank you for watching this segment and keep practicing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You know what happened in the class yesterday? I started on camera 1. No, that's camera 2. Borra. I started on camera 2, and Maria said, move to camera 1. So I moved to camera 1. And the moment I started talking on camera 1, she said, go back to camera 2. And I was disoriented. No sooner had I changed to camera 1 than she told me to go back to camera 2. Yes, no sooner had I changed than she told me to go back. So for now, I'm going to go to camera 1, okay? And hopefully, esperanzadamente, se dice en inglés, hopefully, she won't tell me to go back to camera 2. All right, interesting expression, hopefully. Se usa muchísimo en inglés. Sin embargo, in Spanish, you don't have it. Really, you say espero, o eso espero. Que al final no me obligue a volver aquí. But hopefully she won't make me go back. Now yesterday, no sooner had I changed to camera 1 than she said, oh, mistake, go back, go back, go back. So I went back. Don't you remember? You don't? Okay, well, so much the better, tanto mejor. So much the better if you don't remember. Let's go to camera 1 and hope that Maria doesn't tell me to come back to camera 2. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, yesterday also, if you remember, I picked up this cup to drink some water. No sooner had I drank some water than the cup started leaking. I couldn't believe it. A cup is leaking. This cup is made of ceramic material, and it's strong. But it had a hole in it, a small hole. It was leaking in front of the camera. No sooner had I taken a sip than Maria and both myself noticed that it was leaking and dripping on the paper down here. No sooner had I taken a drink, and I put it down quickly, and I continued the class. After the class, we checked in the control room, and it was okay, but it wasn't. It was difficult for you to see, all right, but no sooner. Okay, it's curioso. When I came to Spain, I learned Spanish quite quickly. Well, I learned Spanish. I improved my Spanish quite quickly. But there were certain expressions that I didn't adopt. I didn't assimilate certain expressions that were very different from English. Okay? One of the expressions that I didn't adopt in the first few years here was the expression nada más. Nada más llegar, decidieron ir al cine. Nada más verle, le invitó al cine. Okay? All right, now, we don't have an expression exactly the same. I mean, there are two ways you could say this. Nada más verle a Pepe, le invitaron al cine. As soon as they saw Pepe, tan pronto como le vieron, as soon as they saw Pepe, they invited him to the movies. Or no sooner had they seen Pepe than they invited him to the movies. All right. No sooner had they seen Pepe than they invited him to the movies. And the other day, I came here as usual at the normal time. In fact, I got here about 5 minutes earlier than usual. And no sooner had I arrived than they told me that the lights were not working in this room. I said, oh, my God, it took me 35 minutes to get here. Yeah, no sooner had I gotten here than they told me I couldn't stay. There was no reason to stay. They said, well, you can stay here. We're going to work on it and try to fix the lights, but it could be 3 hours. So I turned around and went back to my office. And no sooner had I arrived in my office than the computer systems broke down because there was a problem with 2 of the electric lines in the company. We have 3 lines, and 2 of them were down. No sooner had I arrived than 70% of the computers went down. And I could hear everybody say, oh. I heard one say, no. Okay. But no sooner had I arrived than everything broke down. You know, I think yesterday I was a gafe. A gafe means a jinx. It's a word a strange word in English, by the way, for gafe. A jinx is J-I-N-X. All right, J-I-N-X. All right, that was the name of the cat in the Hanna-Barbera cat, or the Warner or Hanna-Barbera cartoon, Pixie and Dixie. Y el gato es malditos roedores. Okay, that was jinx. Jinx means un gafe. Yesterday I was a jinx. No sooner had I left home than I realized that I had left my keys at home and I had to go back. And no sooner had I opened the door to go back home than my wife said, who's there? She was frightened because I never go back home. And when I left my garage this morning, yesterday morning. Yesterday was the day I was a jinx. I went to my car, and because I had forgotten the keys and had to go back home to get them, I was in a hurry because I was going to be late. I have a radio show. It starts at 7:30. I can't be late because I have 40 or 50,000 people who start listening to me at that time. So I can't be late. It's just not part of any possibility. There's no option. So I got in my car and I went up the ramp to leave the garage. Now, when I go up the ramp, I have to turn right because the street is one way. And to go to the radio, I have to go right, go down, turn, go back, and go back the other way. It takes about 4 minutes. If I turn left, of course, it's against the law because it's a one-way street. But there's only about 20 meters of the street, and then I can turn onto another, and it saves me 4 minutes if I break the law by 20 meters going the wrong way. Okay, fine. So yesterday, after forgetting my keys, I was in a hurry, I was worried. So when I drove the car up the ramp, I made the decision to turn left, a one-way street, and to break the law for about 20 meters. Okay. First I went out and I checked. I saw no cars. It was very early in the morning. It was 10 minutes past 7. And I saw that no cars were coming. So I turned in the wrong direction, of course, but it was only 20 meters. No sooner had I turned than a police car showed up. I said, oh my God. And they stopped me. And they looked at me and said, what were you doing? And I said, breaking the law. I admitted it. I parked my car in this garage, and no sooner had I gone out than they stopped me. Bad luck. And the rest of the day was the same. Yesterday I was a jinx. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes to finish the program.
Hello and welcome to Vago en Inglés 4.0. That's right, the most complete English course on the planet. Remember, you can follow us from the internet. You can follow us from the materials. You can follow us on the radio at Vaughan Radio. So the idea is to use the course to the max, right? We say to the max, es al máximo, right? To use it to the max. Take advantage of it. Make the most of it. Aprovecha. That's right. This can be a very, very good course if you really follow it. All right? I challenge you. Te desafío. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my student for today. Her name is Anna. Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
All right. I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Do you remember the phrase I taught you in the last class we were together?
To brush up.
To brush. Okay, so dime, estoy intentando mejorar mi inglés.
I'm trying to brush up on my English.
I'm trying to brush up on my English. You got it. 5 points. Very good. Very good. To brush up on. All right. Well, ask me what we're going to do today.
What are we going to do today?
Well, we're going to look at some vocabulary. Okay, we're going to look at vocabulary, and then after we're going to look at a structure.
Okay.
A structure, right? Okay, now, vocabulary. Now, do you like to learn new words?
Sure, yes.
I like to, how do you say disimular? Like, hey, look at me. Look, I got a new word.
To pretend?
No, pretend would be fingir. This is a little bit fingir. To show off.
Ah, okay.
Presumir is the word. Presumir, right? To show off. To show off. I like to show off. When I learn a new word, I love to show off. I'm like, suministro, incertidumbre, blah, blah, blah. I like to show it off. Yeah, because these are big, concienzudamente. You see what I mean? Now, sometimes I don't even need a context. I'll just be like, sí, pero el suministro. My friends are like, what? Why? I don't understand. I like to show off. Do you like to show off when you learn a new word?
Yeah, I do.
Not
yes.
as much as me.
Not as much as you do.
I knew it. I could read you there. Okay, well, let's take a look at the vocabulary. The first word is sobrepasar a alguien.
To surpass?
To
Is that it?
surpass, absolutely. Surpass. It's a regular verb. So every day I surpass. Yesterday I
Surpassed.
surpassed, exacto, con sonido T. And lately,
Surpassed.
I have, I said, I've surpassed. Right, good, okay, all right. So you've surpassed the first vocabulary word. Good. Okay, number 2, let's take a look. Envolver o terminar.
To wrap up.
To wrap up. We can wrap up a Christmas present or a birthday present. You can wrap it up, right? But also we have to wrap up the class in a few minutes, right? We have to wrap up the class in about 5 minutes. To wrap up es terminar también. Okay. Also, when you're doing, when you do movies or television, when you're done filming for the day, hay una frase muy técnico que usamos en el mundo de televisión, and we say, that's a wrap. Eso es, ya está, ya acabamos para hoy. That's a wrap. So let's wrap it up. But we're not going to wrap up this class yet because we have more to do. Okay, number 3. This is serpiente o culebra.
Snake.
Snake. That's right, snake. 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 Very good. What about cuanto antes?
The sooner the better.
The sooner the better. Yeah, if somebody goes, hey, I'm going to pay you back. Te voy a pagar el dinero que te debo. The sooner the better. Right? Don't you agree?
Yes.
If someone owes you money, the sooner the better. Pay me back. All right? Or else I'll charge you, how do you say, interés?
Interest? No.
Interest, exactly. Solo ponemos una T al final. Interest. Interest. Okay, and the last one is cuando quieras.
Whenever you want.
Or whenever. If you just say whenever, cuando quieras. When are you going to be home? Whenever. Whenever. When can I come over? Whenever. Cuando quieras. Whenever. Como quieras.
However.
However. Right? However también es sin embargo, pero es otro uso. Right? Quien sea.
Whoever.
Whoever. Okay? En donde sea.
Wherever.
Wherever. See. Is this difficult?
No.
I didn't think so. Now, we have to wrap up the class in 4 minutes. That's what Maria is telling me. She said, Alberto, we got to wrap up the class in 4 minutes. No envolver la clase. En este caso, se sabe del contexto, right? A lot of people get frustrated because they're like, espera, wrap up is envolver algo, and wrap up is also terminar algo. How am I going to know the difference? How do you know the difference? Tell us.
Depending on the context.
It's all in the context. My favorite example is take off. What does take off mean?
To take off.
Okay, a
Like a
plane,
plane
takes off. Sure, absolutely. And another meaning?
You take off. You
Okay,
leave.
take off, the same thing, like, despegar fuera, right? But even a more common use thing, we do it every day.
Take off. I don't know.
Take off your ring.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
De toda la vida, quitarse algo, right? You know, it's a very, you don't even think about it, but it's a common verb. But you know the difference, because if we say the plane is going to take off at 6 o'clock, no se va a quitar nada, right? Is the plane, I mean, I've never seen a plane take anything off, have you?
No.
I've seen
I hope I
people
never
take
do.
things off. I've never seen planes take things off. Okay? So from the context, we know it. The same, another confusing one is make up, inventar, maquillarse, recuperar, right? It has so many different meanings, but you'll know from the context. So don't stress phrasal verbs. Just understand that, yeah, they are a bit tricky, but from the context, if you're listening and paying attention, you may be able to catch what they're saying, right?
Right.
Okay. For example, another one, to go off. What is this one?
A bomb goes off.
A bomb goes off, absolutely, 5 points, very good. What else goes off?
I don't know. An alarm clock goes off.
That's right.
Oh.
Now suena como apagar, but it means sonar. So don't look for logic. You're going to get frustrated if you look for logic in phrasal verbs. Just learn them as their own sound, their own word, right? Okay, now we're going to look at the structure is no sooner had the game started than the football player sprained his ankle, right? Un esguince. In fact, Julio sprained his ankle, the producer, Julio. He has a sprained ankle, tiene un esguince. Okay, so the structure is no sooner had lo que sea pasado, okay, than lo que sea pasado. So what it means is apenas había hecho algo o algo ocurrió y pasó tal. Okay, so the structure is no sooner had the class finished than we had to start the next class. ¿Ves? Okay, so let me give you a few examples y quiero que aplicas tú esta estructura, okay? How do you say quedarse dormido, perdón.
Stay asleep.
To fall asleep.
Oh, okay.
Quedarse
Sí,
dormido,
ah,
yeah.
sí.
To fall asleep en el momento de que me quedé dormido a las 11. I fell asleep. Okay, so fall asleep and snore. So vamos a decir él, para no decir tú, right? Say, okay, apenas se había quedado dormido cuando empezó a roncar,
No sooner had he fallen asleep
right?
than he started to snore.
Perfect. No sooner had he fallen asleep than he started to snore. Okay, get the job and get fired.
No sooner had he gotten the job than he got fired.
You got it. Good job, Anna. 10 more points. All right, guys, keep studying. It's easy if you make it easy, and it's difficult if you make it difficult. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
All right, class 134 is now history. Congratulations on finishing another class. Tomorrow we have class 135. Oh, no wonder. Wow, we have something very important tomorrow, something we use all the time, but English teachers often never teach. Interesting. There are a lot of expressions, a lot of turns of phrase, giros, turns of phrase in English that English teachers or English books never teach. Here in Bowman, we try to cover all of them, especially the ones that are heard on a daily basis. All right? And that's what we're going to do. So you need to try to attend class regularly. You need to make an effort to watch this show every day. Even those of you who are not official students, you need to make an effort to stay in touch with us. Because the more you stay in touch with the language, the more you learn. And after 1 or 2 years, you say, anda, me noto mejor con el inglés. ¿Por qué será? Será por la perseverancia en vernos, en seguirnos, y no bajar la guardia. Don't do it, but don't let your guard down. Stay with us every day.